Hey kids, over here. There we go. It's Mark Miller. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the show. Just getting a bunch of last minute things checked off. Didn't have a show yesterday, but I think we're going to have an extra show this week on Friday. I'm thinking about adding another day. And so that's kind of where we are. Roy's going to join us a little later today. So we're looking forward to that. Welcome. So let's kind of review where we are, what we're going to do. It's Design Patterns Week on Code Rush. I realize we're at a point where we are about to implement at least 3 distinct different design patterns in our map editor. And I thought, hey, let's focus on the design patterns this week. Let's implement them. It's been either years, or you could either argue I haven't done it before, the command design pattern, or it's been years since I've done it. And we need it because we want to be able to implement undo and redo. So we want to be able to make a change to the editor, then hit the undo key and undo that change. So we're going to need implement the command design pattern. As part of persistence, we're going to have to do something very clever because we have a lot of references in the map editor. The tile, for example, knows the room it's in, so it's got a reference to its parent room. And I believe there are other references throughout the data that we want to preserve, and we have to come up with a clever way of doing that. And so I think the way that I'm going to solve that problem is with the flywheel design pattern, and I think we're going to instead of preserving links or saving them out as owned objects, we are going to create an object, an instance that is going to represent a link. And so we'll use flywheel for that. That also makes sense with the images. So I might have a reference to an image, and instead of storing the actual file name to that image on disk, I'm going to store the file name in a list and then reference the index to that list. So we'll be doing flywheel. And today we're going to be working on the composite design pattern. So let's get started with that. I'll show you the app, and I'll show you what I want to change, and then we'll go in and change it. Now, here's the app. Let's run it. As usual, I am underprepared because
disclaimer! Mark doesn't know Jack!
Yeah. So I'm a little bit underprepared today. You're going to be watching me figure this all out from scratch. As usual, I know kind of what I want to do, where I want to go, and the from scratch is going to be because I haven't really given it too much thought. Over the weekend, I added kind of a cool feature to the tiling here. Zombies. What are we going to do? Thanks, Sex Positive. Yeah. How you doing, Sex Positive? Where's my mouse? Where are you, mouse? There you are. You don't think so? That has never happened. What's never happened? Underprepared? That's all I do, baby, is underprepare. I even spend extra time underpreparing. Okay, so a couple cool things on the tiling, though, I wanted to show you. I did this over the weekend. One is, actually, there's kind of a nice subtle thing I did, too. Real easy. If I double-click on a room, it now will highlight that room I double-click on and select it at the same time. Surly
Dev is in the house.
Surly Dev. How you doing, buddy? Welcome. Welcome. We got 24 people at the start of the show. Impressive. Is it just because I said design patterns? Everybody's like, let's see what's going on. Yeah, we're going to implement the composite design pattern. I'll show you what I want to do in a second, but first I'm just bringing up to speed on what I've done with the map editor. So, a couple things. One of the things we started out doing, we built were these tiling systems where I could click on a tile, and that tile would actually be represented by multiple BMPs that would be randomly selected in these different places right here. And so like we could click here, and every time we click it, it'll give me kind of another random outlaying of all of those tiles, which is kind of cool. So I've got some of those. I also added support. This was happening last week. So I'm showing you just stuff that we had already last week. For tiling, putting in tiles that had a specific placement. So these are kind of, each has 4 different placements. Sex Positive says, I've been so excited about this week. Yeah, I have been. Yeah. So, but these are super cool, right? These, you can kind of click them and get this totally kind of unique look for each room. But in the back of my mind, I always had this idea of larger tiles because I want to have something that's bigger, but also wrappable. And I figured that out over the weekend. Very cool stuff. So now I can click on a larger tile that's also wrappable, and it's going to figure out how to wrap it and where to put it so that it's, instead of being random every time, it's actually precise. So if I come in and say, okay, let's do the ocean, for example, right there it is. And if I triple click actually to select everything and say, here's the ocean, Michael Jolly.
Michael Jolly is in the house.
Michael, look out! Oh, all right. So here you can start to see kind of the wrapping pattern, what's happening here. But the cool thing about this is that this is going to always be consistent. So it's consistent, and it allows us to get images that are much bigger than what we could get just by a random kind of collection of tiles that actually make sense and get good together. So that's kind of what's going on here. So we can come in and create a room with these gorgeous kind of floor backgrounds and play Dungeons and Dragons on them. So that's kind of what's going on that's kind of let me bring you up to speed and where we are. So let me just quickly come in here. Let's triple click here and let's give it the rocky background right there. Sex Positive. You always had the idea of larger tiles in the back of your mind. That kind of explains a lot. Yeah. So here we go. Very quick to set up some dungeons here and give them some very realistic kind of background. So now I've got this larger dirt background. The cool thing about this is that we don't have that repeatability, right? If I plop a tile in, even if I'm varying the tile, it looks very repeatable and kind of gross to me. It doesn't look great. Even here, I'm changing I'm making some dark and some light. It's still, not quite gorgeous. And so I want this to look like, whoa, we're actually like on dirt, for example, right? Or what are some of the other options here? Cracked surface of the earth, that sort of thing. So that's kind of what I've done here. Is I've made it support the larger tiles. You can kind of see what some of these look like out here. Jetsam! Yeah. Okay, maybe not always, but certainly for a while. This one's kind of weird. It's kind of cool, but it's the cool thing about this is it's seamless, right? It's got 2 edges, and you can't quite figure out. There's no obvious point where one edge starts and the other edge ends. So that's kind of cool. Very cool stuff here in terms of how these are all lining up, that sort of thing. He's still kind of 9. Yeah, that's true. I am. So that's kind of an example of what we can do, what we can create, what the look is going to be looking like for some of the rooms. I also am thinking, it's in the back of my head, but I'm thinking about giving this the option of doing color shifting. So speaking of color shifting, let's start dropping some items in here. Let's start decorating this. Let's put a hole in here a second. Let's go to debris and grab a hole. I think I got a hole in here, don't I? Oh, it's in cracks, I think. Cracks. Let's take a hole, put it right over there. Let's grab some furniture. And let's pop a table in here like this. Let's grab some chairs. So you can start to see what we're kind of building here as we're putting these around here. Let's put this around here. Let's rotate that. Now, we're kind of building like an image editor a little bit, right? I want to select all these. I can now I can shift click on these to multi-select these. I can drag them at once, right? Like this. I do not have a way to group them yet. And I want to be able to group them. That's one of the things I want to be able to do. I can manipulate them as a group, though. I can say, let's move to back like that, and there I've just brought the table in front. I can come up, bring up to the table. I can resize it, make it bigger, that sort of thing. I don't know. What do I want to do here on this guy? I'm not sure. He's a little bit too extreme for an angle right there. We'll put it in right over there. So that's what I want to do. I want to be able to shift click on these guys and now hit Control G, for example, and group them as one. Once they're grouped, I want to then be able to select one of them, and then the whole group is selected. And once that happens, then I can manipulate it. By the way, color manipulation, this is what it looks like. So I can come in here and I can change the hue, for example, the saturation of the image, the lightness. I want to be able to add, and the contrast as well. And so I wanted to be able to add this to the, here, let's change this around a little bit. Let's move the hue so it's a little bit closer to the red there. Seems like a bad place to put your table. Next to the chasm. I bet they lost a lot of cheers and patrons. Yeah. Well, let's, hold on a second. Let's go over to debris. One of my items in debris is, I don't know, this is a family show. So this is like some jam that was spread across the ground right here. It's like this. So yeah, maybe something like that is what you're thinking. I think I can control drag this to make a copy. Yeah. Oh, look, it made an extra one. Okay, so I still have no undo. So something like this is maybe we're thinking of, right? The guy was sitting there watching and then something happened. Jam got spread. Could you talk about your composite design pattern? Yeah, so I'm going to do that. Sigma Heavy Industries is out there. So we're going to implement the composite design pattern like right now. We're not thinking about it in advance. To be fair, I was maybe thinking about it, but the cool thing about the composite design pattern is it's so easy to integrate into existing code. It's not a big deal to refactor to it. At least that's my claim today, right now. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see if this is easy or hard. But I want to take my existing stamp and turn and create a second class that's similar to it, that it is essentially the group. So I'll be able to select multiple items, group them together, and even take groups and select multiple groups and group them together. So I can have a hierarchy of groups. That's what I want to be able to do. And then when I manipulate them, like I move them, I drag them, I resize them, I rotate them, I want them to rotate and resize as a group. The one thing about rotation, though, the only thing about rotation here is I don't support rotation in any degree other than 90 degrees because of the limitations of WPF. So I will not have them rotate as a group. When I hit the rotate button, it'll be the same as if they were all individually selected. But the scaling, I definitely want the scaling to work as a group. So rotating will look like this. They'll all individually rotate. But when I scale or when I drag and move, I want them to all work as a group. So that's what I want to do. So let's close the app down because we need to make some changes to the architecture. Am I enjoying my Bitcoin gains? I am not enjoying those because I don't have any Bitcoins. All right. So the object that I want to now move into the design pattern is called the stamp. That's the name of the class. It has some properties here. Any new writable properties need to be copied to the clone method. Okay. It has no ancestor class and no descendants either. And it's got these properties. And I essentially want to create something called a stamp group. And I used to have, there used to be a CodeRush feature, and I don't think I have it here, but I need it right now. Oh, look at this. It's here. Sweet. Extract interface. Okay, cool. That's exactly what I wanted. Nice. I didn't think we had ported that over yet. Okay, so I just applied extract interface to the class, and it took out every public member and stuck it in this interface. Now I'm going to review them and see if there are any I can get rid of. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep them all. This is bigger than I thought it was in terms of complexity. Next, I'm going to take the I'm going to take that I stamp, the reference everywhere that stamp was used, where it makes sense. I'm going to replace it with I stamp. Wow. I think I want to change it here too. I'm not going to change it here yet, but I'm going to, I think, later. Let's keep going through this and look at where everywhere else this is. Yeah, I'm going to change it here too, I think. The stamp folder. This is an actual list of stamps, so I'm okay with that there. If we have the ability to store a group out there, then we might change that. Selected stamps. This I'm going to change to iStamp. Let me keep going. Can I do this? I can't do this, can I? I've got a problem here because of the conversion. I can't do a list of stamps. Well, that's easy. Sorry. That should not have stopped me so quickly there. All right. Okay, so there's that one done. Let's go back to stamp. Let's see where else we're using stamp here. Oh wait, selection stamps is in here. Let's look at this one. So I'm using CodeRush's tab to next reference. Hey, here you go. How you doing? I did not know that price. It borders on your stream. Yeah, Sigma says, Sigma Industries. And that it's been fairly active on the charts. Did not know that. Okay, for each, this one's going to be iStamp now. Clear, add stamps, that'll all work. Stamp, get stamp at, that's got to be iStamp here. Get stamp at, it's got to return an iStamp. iStamp here. iStamp. Okay, remove all stamps. Yep, we're going to need that to be a list of iStamps. Add stamp now, you bet. Insert stamp, you bet. Change that, add stamp. There we go. Stamps layer. So everything's going to now take the interface. And without adding the second piece, so I'm going to make all these changes first, and then And then we're going to run it and make sure it's all still working like we're expecting it to work. What do we got here? Where's my next reference to stamp? Copied stamps. Those are going to be iStamps. That's going to stay the same. Select stamp. Who's calling this? Well, that's always going to be a stamp. All right. We'll keep that. That's an iStamp right there. That's an iStamp. That's an iStamp. Create floating stamp. Where are you? Where's the second one? There it is. Whoops, iStamp. Okay, active stamp. That's changing to iStamp.
Copper Beardy is in the house.
Hey, Copperbeardy. Welcome. Add stamp selecting UI. That makes sense there. And got a problem up above. Let's drop a marker here. Let's jump into this. Constructor. That needs an iStamp. That means this is going to be of type iStamp. And I put this year's flowers in the propagator today as well. Nice, Copperbeardy. Welcome, buddy. Glad to have you here. All right, so let's see. Here we go. Get back to where we were. No, no, no to those three. No to there. And there we go. iStamp there. That one. That's okay too. That's the tag for the tag that we use to store which stamp in the list of things we can stamp out. Active stamp resizing. That's going to be an iStamp. There we go. iStamp there. iStamp there, 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 there. All of these. And that's it. I think we've gone all the way around. We might be able to compile. Let's see if we can compile. What do we got? Nice flowers, kids. Add stamps. List of iStamp. Insert stamps, list of iStamp. Ooh. Nope, that one's not changing. We have a problem here. Here we have a problem. Okay, we're going to fix it like this. So we have a problem because we're calling another image that essentially knows intimate knowledge about the stamp. Blend stamp image is here, and we're calling it right here. What we need to do instead is we need to call stamp.blend stamp image like this, and passing in this layer to it as well. We pass in this layer. And then what it's going to do is it's going to come in and call a public version of this. And it's going to redirect and call back out like this is what it's going to do. So, blend stamp image. So this one goes away like that. And now, let's declare this. And let's copy that. Let's go over into our, here, let's use CodeRush to go to implementations of this. Should be only one. There it is. All right, so now we need to implement that. And now we're going to go into the stamps layer and call blend image, passing in this and the X and Y, I think, right? Hold on. Stamps layer is where we were. No, we just want the blend stamp image passing only the stamp in. Okay. So we want blend stamp image. That's what we want. There. Okay. So it looks like kind of we didn't do anything. It's almost like, wait, why did we do this? But the reason why is we need to give it an actual stamp at this point. Blend stamp image needs a stamp because so we can get that stamp's image. If we have a group of items, there won't be a single image that represents the group. We need to implement that differently. So this was a potential problem right there that we needed to fix. So that's what's going on there. That's why we made that change. Let's do a build. See what we're doing. What we have left. Insert stamps. This can be a nice stamp. Okay, and this can be a nice stamp as well. And let's do build again. Getting close here. Oh, how did we get this? Blend stamp image and stamp. Oh, I know why. Okay. It declared it for us in both places. I didn't realize that. Okay, good. Now build. Succeeded. All right, let's run it. Make sure everything's still working with stamps. Then we get to step 2 of Composite, which is to implement the folder or the container of multiple stamps. And it's going to behave just like the stamp. So part 1 is done in implementing the design pattern. Okay, so let's give it a floor. Let's get a stamp. Let's drop a shield right there. And now if I control, click, and drag, is that right? Control, click, and drag. Nope, drag when hold the control key down, then it copies it. Okay, shift click, control, drop down, rotate, flip left and right, flip top and bottom, change the color, bring up the saturation, bring up the contrast, lightness, that sort of thing, or darkness. Okay, so yeah, it looks like everything is still working. What other tests do we have? We've got, I guess, delete. Delete is in there. Copy and paste. Copy color mod and then paste the color mod like that. Nice. Okay. All right. Step 1 is done. Step 2 is we need to create a class that, whoops, not an exception, sorry. A class that is the stamp group. And it's also implementing iStamp. Okay, let's get some code, implement that interface. Really? You're going to give me all of that? Okay, a little messy. All right. So we need a list of stamps the stamp group is going to hold on to. So it's going to be essentially a new list of I-stamps, like that. It's going to be called the, I guess it's called stamps, like that. And on our getter, we have two questions. The question is, what is the contrast in a group if it's not identical? Right? What should we do? Should we return the first? Should we return something to indicate it's unknown, like not a number? If we return not a number, it increases the burden on anybody who's consuming the that property, because now it's got to check to see is that not a number, and if it is, do something special. If we return the first, it eases the burden on the client, but it's not always accurate, and it can lead to maybe unexpected results. I think I'm going to do the unexpected results one for the first time. Unexpected results, and what I mean by that is, like, you select a bunch of things, you go to adjust the contrast, and the contrast, most of them are light, but the first one you selected was dark, and so its contrast is really low, for example, or something like that. You're like, huh? And you go to adjust it, and then everything suddenly changes. That's what I mean by unexpected behavior. It's from the user's perspective. It's like, wait, what? Whereas if I returned an indicator of that, I could somehow indicate on the slider that they were not all the same. But I think I'm going to just return the first. So I'm going to do something like this. Return stamps dot first or default dot contrast. That's what I'm doing there. And if a group ever has no stamps in it at all, then that's an error. I'm okay with this erroring out with an exception right now. The next step is to set the contrast. And so now what we want to do is we need to do something like this and say this dot contrast equals value. Now, the cool thing about this code is that this is going to now work for folders of groups. It's just going to go set the stamp property. If this is a group, it's going to go back in and call this again and iterate through all of that's groups stamps. So we have the ability to have unlimited nesting essentially with just these lines of code right here for the contrast property. I want to do essentially the same for the other properties. I'm going to just copy this to the clipboard, delete it, select this. Do I want to do that? Is there a faster way? I was going to do this. Shift Enter to delete, to duplicate the line and paste. Yeah, it's pretty fast, like that. Come down here, copy file name, delete that. What's happening here? We can't set it. Oh, it's read only. That's okay. It's easier to delete the setters than and to keep going. So I copied file name to the clipboard. I'm going to now repeat the. I can't repeat the duplicate line. Let's do this instead. Mark this, and I think that's all I need to do. Copy that to the clipboard, paste. Does it get them all? Good. And now I want to put in file name, like that. Good. Copy this to the clipboard. This has got a getter and a setter. So Control-Alt-V does my last smart super mega paste right there. Do that. So I'm just going through for each one of these, doing my mega super paste or my super mega paste, and now this is a read only right here on the height. So we'll bring this in, do that, and delete the setter on this. We don't need the setter, like that. Hue shift's got a read write. Looks like we have a problem up here. Oh, type is Boolean. Type Boolean. Type is string. Just got to check that out there. How is this working now? There we go. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. Okay, back to hue shift. There's hue shift. That's a double. Next one is image. That's of type image. That's a getter only, right? That's a getter. Actually, this is something we need to look for. We need to double check code accessing this property. Because we want to do that thing we just did before when I said there may be a problem with it. So we want to double check that, because when it's directly accessing the image of a group, we want to change that so it's a function called on the stamp instead to draw itself or whatever. Call on the I stamp, and then the group can respond accordingly. All right, let's keep going here. Here's lightness. And lightness is also a double, so we don't need to change the type. Relative X. This is of type int. Like that. Relative Y. We can duplicate this. This is going to be an easy change if I just duplicate this and change it to relative Y. Like that. Duplicate that selection. We got both of those we can get rid of. Stamp rotation is next. It's got both a getter and a setter, so that's good. And saturation after that, which is also a double. Scale, also a double. It's got a read write. So Coder's is making this easier for me to duplicate this code and build this piece up here. So that's all I'm doing here. This is a read only right here. So also a double though. We'll get rid of the setter. Let's duplicate this. Scale Y. We got width. Now width is kind of interesting. Let's just review all these. Scale. I'm okay with all of these other properties that might be different among them to return the first. But width is the first property. Actually, diagonal, I think, is also one we want to worry about too. Because diagonal, if I'm recalling correctly, is the diagonal from the two corners. And so width, oh wait, where is, let's go take our, here's our class right here at the end of it. Let's take this whole thing and let's move this over to its own file. So we've got that in its own file. It's a little easier to work with. Okay, we were at diagonal. I'd copied diagonal to the clipboard. There's diagonal right there. So diagonal and width are similar. All right, Control-V. There's the width. I want both of these to, I think, calculate it. Let's double check, though, that diagonal is what I'm thinking it is. Yep, it's that. In fact, I want to implement it exactly like this is what I want it to do. So I'm not going to worry about diagonal being grabbing the other diagonals. I'm going to calculate it using width and height is what I'm going to do. So I've got width right there. And what's your problem here? Stamp group width and stamp group width. Do I have two widths here? Oh, I do. I see. Okay. So this is going to be height like that. Like that. And there's width and height. X. All right, keep going. Here we go. Control-Alt-V. X is that right there. Hold on. This is tricky. Positional related pieces is different from a property. This is where it's showing up. Where is the group showing up? I think I'm storing X and Y's is what I think I'm doing. That's what I think I'm doing. I am not sure what I'm doing yet on these two. X and Y, height and width, going to take some special care. Did I already put height up here? There it is right there. Okay. All right, so we're going to worry about these after I get the rest of these done. So put these at the end here. Okay. Special care here. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Z order. All right. No. This is also going to, I'm going to change this too. Z order is going to hold its own. It is not, it's its own thing. So we're going to implement it like that. That's Z order. Z order changed. Oh, you know what? Am I even calling this? I think I added this and never ever call it. I think that's what's going on here. Is anybody ever hooking this event? Let's kill it. Let's kill it and everything related to it. All right, that should be everything. Every reference should be taken out to Z order. Okay, so Z order change we're not worrying about. Nobody cares about that. All right, so here, blend stamp image. Now this is where we're going to do another one of these for eaches here. Oh wait, hold on a second. Sorry, no, hold on. Blend stamp image, I think, didn't we write this already? Oh, no, wait, we didn't. We didn't. Sorry. I gotcha. It's this. So now we got functions in here. So it looks like this. This is checking to see if the stamp contains a point. So we're going to check to see, go through every stamp that we own and ask, do you hold this point? And say, if so, then we're going to return true. Otherwise, we're going to return false. So there's contained points right there. See it? Makes sense? Every stamp we own, do you contain the point? If so, we're going to return true. Otherwise, we return false. Blending stamp image, we go through every stamp, or actually every iStamp. So it could be a group, right? And it'll just recursively call through those different group layers, blend image on the layer. Which also means that the order within the stamp determines the order in which the images will be blended. So we might have to do something, we might run into some potential problems in this implementation where we need to reverse the order of the stamps that move to the group, depending on how they're drawn, because it's a Z order particular issue. We might run into that problem, in which case the solution should be just flipping the order. So we'll take a look at that, flipping the order in which the items are drawn or preserved inside the list. Probably in which they're drawn. We might reverse it. I'm not sure yet. All right, stamp.copy. This needs to be an iStamp, I think. Wait. Yeah, if we're copying, we need to be able to copy and create a whole new group. So this is going to be an iStamp. And let's go find copy here. You can consolidate the cadence point using the any or all link methods. Thanks, Coding Gorilla. I'll take a look at that in a second. So there's the implementation right there. Stamp group. Okay, we need to figure this out. It's going to take a little bit of thought to do this. We essentially need a deep clone is what we need. So special care here. I'm just putting it down in my special care here section right there. Contains point. Let's go look at contains point. I think it goes like this, right? If stamps, or it's just like this, return stamps dot any. Contains point. Did IntelliSense just help me figure that out? Is that what you're thinking, Coding Gorilla? I think that might be it. Cool. Thanks for that suggestion, Coding Gorilla. All right, get left and get top. These also need special handling. I think that might be as easy as storing just the left position. Yeah, I'm thinking about when we create the group, giving it a left and top of matching the top left of the top of the topmost stamp and the left of the leftmost stamp, and then changing every child's left and right offset to be relative to that top and left. And then when we ungroup, to reverse that process. I think that's going to be the simplest in terms of code. So we haven't written that code yet, but I'm thinking about that now. That's just want to let you know that's what's in my head. All right, has no Z order. I want to go look at that implementation. What is that? That's return Z order is -1. So we're going to just implement the same exact bit of code here. Okay, because we're storing that in our stamp group. Our stamp group's holding its own Z order. That's what's happening there. Also, when we group a bunch of items, we need to change the Z order of all of those items. We need to change the Z order of all of those items. I just noticed I got 2 little pixels on the screen. I think those are dice from the last time I was rolling dice here. Let's see. What happens if I roll a whole bunch of dice right now? Yeah, they go away. This is all for the Dungeons and Dragons stream we're building. The stream has not gone live yet, but if you kids are into Dungeons and Dragons and or attempted comedy, you want to go out to twitch.tv/DragonHumpers and give it a follow right there. Yeah, 90 damage. Codebase Alpha's with us. Codebase, did you come in secret under the wire? Because, dude, I love your fanfare. Or did we miss you somehow? I want to play your fanfare if you didn't come in under the wire. Anyway, go out to Dragon Humpers, twitch.tv/Dragon Humpers, give us a follow. We're going to go live probably in about 4 weeks, I think. And all of the special effects that we built on this stream are going to be used on that stream. And if you're a fan of Mondays, so I used to do a comedy podcast called Mondays. I loved it so much. I married one of the other podcasters, Karen Mangicotti, who's my wife, and she's going to be on there with us as well. So if you're a fan of Mondays, you'll probably enjoy it. It'll be that kind of comedy and Dungeons and Dragons fun stuff. Okay, so what do we got here? Move. We're on to move here. This one is going to be easy. This is similar to this right here. We're going to do that, and then we're going to call move like that. We are, by the way, dog fooding Code Rush inside of Visual Studio. Every day we do go live out here. And one of the things that we do is we sometimes report issues. And I'm going to report a feature request that I want. So kids, the feature request is this. I have code like this, something like that. I come up here and I copy that, or I copy maybe another method declaration. I'm inside the method and I paste. I want smart paste to turn that into that with a semicolon at the end if it needs it. That's what I want smart paste to be able to do. So I can take any declaration, paste it inside a method as a call, and it'll just take all of the outs and the refs and the type declarations out, give me the comma delimited list of parameters. That's what I want. So with that, let me just close up that feature request, document it here. I want smart method call paste is what I want added to CodeResh. And we don't need a log file for that. Don't need to roll back time. There it is right there. No fanfare. Oh no, that means we've lost our fanfares. We got to see Codebase Alpha. Here's one of the spell effects. Let's see if this will work here. Tidal wave. Oh wait, I got to go switch over to my the player's view. Tidal wave, does it work? It's only on the back. The front one's not working. Interesting. Let me try refresh on the front overlay. Oh no, wait, it's working. It just hasn't. It was off to the side. So you can see a little bit of the effect behind me right there. Let's reinitialize player data. You'll see this. So what's cool about the what we've done on this stream is we've built in both C# and TypeScript. We've built all kinds of effects. Like here you go. Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? So this is for the tidal wave effect right here. Hold on a second. Switch over here. Switch to this view. There's tidal wave right there. Like that. So here we go. Tidal wave. Whoops. Tidal wave. So there you can see the effects we built. The other one was lightning lure. Here's lightning lure. We built these effects that can wrap around the players. Very, very cool particle effects like this. Tidal wave. Here we roll the damage on it. Special effects like crazy. And those are fun. We built them. We built this engine on the show. That's what we've done in the last. Let me clear those dice out. Oh, it's rolling wild magic check. If this is a 1, things go bad, but it's not. Okay, cool. Let's hide the scroll so you can see the code. Clear the dice. Okay. All right, there's our move. Reset Z order. What happens in the... it's just Z order is equal to -1. Okay, cool. We'll do the same thing. Rotate left. This is going to be this. Like that. And then this one's going to be rotate right. Like that. Can I do this, by the way? Can I do this with link? Stamps.all. I guess I do this dot rotate right. No, it needs a value. Is that what it is? Yeah, okay, got it. Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it needs a predicate. Okay. Big Dog Bill PDX is now following. Big Dog Bill, thanks for the follow. Now we're into our special care zone. All right, I'm going to do what I said before because I want this code to be easy. I don't want to have to calculate this every time. So I'm going to just simply say return left, like that, I think. That's what I think. Let me just see where get left is used. Okay, that'll work there. That'll work there. I also want to look at this canvas.setLeft. I want to see where that's used. If we're using it, there's the image. That's okay. Selection rect. That's okay there. Move resize corner 2. I think that's okay. I had a for each extension method I carry around with me, even though most consider it bad practice. You have a for each extension method. That's kind of cool. I think we might be okay. And I think we're full circle yet? Maybe not. Yeah, we're full circle. We've gone all the way around. Okay, good. Okay, where's my stamp group implementation? There it is right there. Okay, so I think I'm just going to create a left and a top on this. I'm going to say return X. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say return Y. Let me double check on this. I want to see get left. Do you materialize the collection before running it? Oh, that question is to Coding Gorilla, I think, right? I want to look at the implementation of this for stamp. I want to see what's going on in stamp. Oh. X minus width divided by 2. Yeah, because we are storing the center positions of the location. So the X and Y is the center, is going to be the center of the group, which means the width minus 2 is going to give me the left. So I actually want this code is what I want in my get left implementation. Like that. That's what I want. And my get top is going to look like that with height. Like that in it. Like that. That's my get top. Okay. Copy. We need to figure out copy. Width. We need to... We got to go through everyone and calculate it is what I think we got to do. No, we could actually, we could have a field variable store it. Oh, we got an incoming call from Rory.
Hello, Mr. Miller.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Let's.
All illness is gone mostly.
Oh yeah. Looks like. Let's see what my audio and video is looking like. Looks like my new tech video is not coming your way. Give me a sec.
A minute.
Let's see what's going on here. OBS Preview 2. There we go. All right, cool. So Rory, give me 1 second. I want to do a. I want to share screen with you so you can hear my sounds. We're in the middle of some design pattern coding right now. We're implementing design pattern. The composite design pattern is what we're implementing.
Okay.
And to be honest, I thought it was going to be faster than what it's been. I mean, we're moving through it pretty quickly, but it's just that the class we're compositing was a pretty sophisticated class. It had like, if we look at the I stamp for it, this is the interface for it. So it's got from line 10 down to line 40. So it looks like it's got about 30 elements in it, 30 members. So we have to go through each one of those members and we're implementing. We're almost done. We've done that in about an hour.
Just for me to confirm I understand correctly. Normally, well, there's many ways to approach different things. Sometimes you inherit two things, one from the other. In order to avoid that, if I'm understanding you correctly, you can use a composite pattern. So you're going to have a new object which contains the two things that you want to be closely related. And that outer object is going to re-implement the interfaces of both those things and kind of pass them through to the constituent pieces?
Kind of, but not really. I'll give you the description. So here's how it goes. Stamp is the thing that we're dropping on the surface. I want to be able to select several and I want to group them and treat that as a group. Then I want to be able to select several stamps and a group and group all of those. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Genescu 7 is here, by the way. Genescu 7, let's play the
Genescu
game, buddy.
7, where are you? We need your help! Oh, not a run.
Here, I am.
We lost overlay control somehow. I'm not sure why. So I'm manually triggering those fanfares there. Hey, Genescu 7, how you doing? Glad to have you with us. Volume Rory +2.
Oh,
Give me a sec on that.
okay.
How can I control that? I'm in this bizarre world where we had to roll back our previous settings here. I think I can do this. Try it now, Rory.
Testing. Can anybody hear me? Am I a decent volume?
I think you are. I think you are. Is it better, kids, in the chat room? Let's see what they say.
Justin
Sounds
says
good. All right, cool.
Hugo says can't hear Rory at all. You got your headphones on, right?
Don't even know he asked to see if it was better, says Hugo. He's messing with you.
Yeah.
Rory's fine. Rory's fine. Okay, we can verify this, Hugo. We can listen to our own stream, buddy.
Yeah, we could do that. That would
Yeah.
be sensible.
Okay, where was I, kids? Okay, so stamp is what we want. So that's what I want to do. So what I'm creating is, the first thing I did is I extracted the interface. Okay, so it took all the public members and said, okay, we'll put it out here in iStamp. All right. Then I changed everything that references stamp, just about everything that references stamp, and turned it into something that referenced an iStamp.
Okay.
Then I created the group, the stamp group class, and it's going to behave slightly differently than a stamp. It implements iStamp. It's got a list of iStamps. That's the grouping, hence the grouping mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And notice it's not list of stamps, it's list of iStamps, which means a stamp group
Absolutely.
can contain a stamp group. And
So
then
you're enabling yourself to make a big old hierarchy of stamps, potentially.
Yep, exactly. A big old hierarchy of stamps.
I love trash.
Groversaurus! Groversaurus just joined us. Sorry, kids, fanfares aren't kicking off automatically, and I don't want to stop everything to go fix that. So, Groversaurus is with us. Glad to have you with us, Groversaurus. The key is in code like this, right here. Contrast is a property of iStamp, and so to get it, I'm just going to return the first one. But to set it, I'm going to go through every stamp and set it. Does that make sense, what I'm doing?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, it does.
cool. So that's all I'm doing, and that in itself should allow us to group. Now we're into the tricky fields right here. I'm going to do this. Field is equal to. Do I have a not a number? I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come down here and say, hey, if field is equal to not a number. Then I'm going to say, whoops, sorry, why am I calling this field? What's up with me? We'll change that in a second. Field is equal to calculate width. And to be fair, well, we'll do this like this for now. Let's rename this to calculate size. They announced the date for DDDSW.
Yeah.
All right, let's rename this to width, because that's insane. I don't know why I did that. Let's do the same with height. Let's duplicate this block of code. Change this to height. That. And then I don't want to assign it, rather. I just want to do calculate size. And then I want to say return height here. And then I want to return width here. It's Surly Dev, who used to be on yesterday.net.com.
I have no idea.
I'm in Germany for 3 weeks over Easter. Cool. Calculate size. We need to come in here and figure out the width and the height in here. That's what we want to do there. Get rid of this height here. X and Y, I'm going to just convert to auto-implemented properties. Both of these. Like that. I'm going to make them just be the X and Y positions of that. And then calculate size, we need to figure this out.
So it's the distance between the leftmost pixel and the rightmost pixel in terms of the stem width, and presumably the top and bottom highest and lowest. Is that right?
Yep, that's kind of what we need to do. So we need to do this. We need to basically our stamps. We need to do a big fat for each. Then we would need to say stamp dot get left top it's just width, sorry, stamp dot width. Like that. Say something controversial. His mod sword. Oh yeah, you see that, Surly? Roy's
I have no idea. What's he talking about?
Surly's a mod. He says he can ban you.
Oh,
You're a mod too, though.
I see.
He's got that little
Does
mod
make
sword
more
in his
sense,
icon
maybe.
right there. Yeah. Be careful. All right, so let's see here. We need to kind of do this here.
It's controversial. Surly doesn't
height.
need any coins.
Okay, so now we want to do this. We need to figure out the right side. So we're going to say, oh, these are, hold on. Oops. These are all doubles right there. Next, I need to figure out the right. All right, and then, yeah, I feel like I'm not quite organized in my thoughts on this yet, but I think it's like leftmost is equal to, like that. That's what I want there. Just duplicate that line. Okay, so now I'm getting my topmost and collecting those. And then I need my rightmost and bottommost here. I need this to be rightmost and bottommost right there. These have got to both be zeros. You in the chat room, Rory? Taking care of the chat room for me? Is that what the typing I hear?
I'm investigating some code because I reckon that on any given list of stamps, because you do have a list of stamps, you might be able to just ask the list what the maximum value for a given property is and a minimum value without necessarily doing all the iteration. But it's just an alternative. I've not
Oh,
remember using this in a while.
you're trying to play with Link on that. Yeah, both you and I are like, we're a little bit rusty on Link, I think. All right, so what are we doing here? Rightmost is if right. Indeed, I was going to suggest min and max link methods. Yeah, but then we have to call each one. I don't know. I guess we can do that. Let's do this. Let's try it. Let's see what we got here. Max. Okay, so it's going to be x dot get left. All right, we'll do it because it's going to make the code easier to read. X is dot width. Oh, sorry, I want min here. No, wait, this is right. I wanted max. Okay, so left plus width is the right side. Fine.
So Coding Gorilla makes an interesting point. Because we're trying to min-max several values, if we do this using the link methods, we'll actually be iterating multiple times, which is potentially less efficient than what you were already doing, since you were only going to pass over them once.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was kind of like, yeah, but you know what? It's not perceptible, right? We are talking about we're talking about iterating over 10 items, 100 items. Even if you had 100 items nested 10 levels deep, it's imperceptible. This piece. Plus, we're only calling this once anyway because these are done here. See what's going on?
So we're okay with what is technically worse
inefficient.
Performance because
Yes.
we perceive that this will maybe be easier to read.
Yes.
And that's quite useful.
Yes, that's what I'm doing here. So we've got there's rightmost, bottommost, then let's go leftmost. I have a feeling we get rid of the word left.
Probably move the plus outside of the max. So you get the maximum left and then add width one time.
I can't do that because I could have a very small one far to the right and a large one left of it, but the large one extends over.
Different widths. Good point.
Yeah. So this one's going to be min, and then topmost is going to be min, calling get top. And that's what I think it looks like. All right. Now we've got the size. And now, so the... Yeah, I think that's fair. Then we're going to say, yeah, this is going to work even if I do my relative idea. So because we're dealing with positions, there's something that happens. I feel like I want to bring up PowerPoint to show this here, so it's clear what we're talking about. Let's just start a new instance of PowerPoint. Create a new blank presentation. Okay, so the idea is I've got a couple items that are out here. I select these three and I say I want to group them. Okay, the active, right now, each of these might have coordinates. Like this might be 800, 150 as its coordinate for the upper left corner of it, or the center, whatever you want to say. So that's that coordinate. This one right over here might be 870, I don't know, let's say 250, like this. And this one back over here might be, this is going to be probably more like 600 or 570. We'll say it's 570 and it's 200. Okay? Like
Sounds
that.
Good so far.
Those are coordinates. What I want to do, let me duplicate this. When I group them, so I'm on the grouping page. Now let me come in here. Let's say shape, do this. My group is going to look like this. Like that.
Well, the smallest possible box that will encompass all of them.
Yes, and I want to change their coordinates in that moment. So I want to now take the group's left position, and this is going to be 570, 150. Okay, and inside it, I want this to now be, this is going to be 230, comma
You're
0.
going to change the coordinates so that they are relative to their immediate parent.
That's what I want to do. This one is going to be 0, comma 50, I think. Right, like that. And then this one over here is going to be, I think, 300, comma 100, like that. So we go from here to here as we create the group. And when we ungroup, we do the opposite. And this, I think, is going to result in the simplest code. It's more work in the act of grouping. We have to kind of move everything across when we do it.
Yep.
But it is, it's, I think, going to, I think it's going to,
can work for all levels of
yeah,
grouping as
yeah.
well.
Now, when we move this group, we don't have to tell its others that they're moving. Does that make sense? That
That's
allows us to just use this for my X and Y instead of distributing that X and Y change, those X and Y changes all the way through all the nested
That's
elements.
right. The move operation becomes way simpler.
Yeah. Now, I also think, though, that we've got to calculate size, not here. It's not going to be on demand. It's going to be when we group. So there's going to be an act of creating the group
Yep.
that we're going to have to deal with. So
But that's a relatively infrequent exercise.
yeah, it's still infrequent, so I'm not worried about efficiency. But it's pretty clear to me, or it feels clear, that that's what we're going to have to do. So so we got calculate size. I essentially think I need a create group function in here. Create. And I think it's going to be static, and it's going to be public, and it's going to return a this class instance right here, stamp group. So let's. This is my result. Let's set it equal to a new. Those X most should be doubles, right? Not ints. Yes. Pretty sure. Well, let's look at this. Now, get left's an int right here. The width and height are allowed to be. Are those are doubles, right? Nope, they're also ints. Cool. So we're okay with those being ints. Thanks, Coding Gorilla. Yeah, it's a little tricky sometimes in WPF because you've got the ability to resize and create something that is not on an integer boundary. Okay, so we want to do a new stamp group here. And this is going to take a new list of ice stamps in it. Like that, and these are going to be our stamps that we're going to add. And I almost feel like I can say this dot stamps. Isn't that what I called it already? Oh no, sorry, can't do this there. Result dot stamps. I think I can do that. Then I want to say result dot calculate size. And this is going to be and position, like that. And then I'm going to return it. So this act right here is going to figure everything out and do what we did here. Does that make sense, Rory?
It's very good, yeah. We're taking all of our intensive processing, doing it in one place. And I say intensive, it's not even going to be that intensive. But we're doing it one time when you make the group. We probably have to some form of reversing that for ungrouping.
Yes, we absolutely will. We will do that. So this is called, when we create a new group, we'll need to ungroup. We'll need to disband. Uncreate, close. What would the word be for that thing? What would that
Vanquish.
be? Vanquish. I love it. Vanquish. We're going to vanquish it. Cool.
Maybe a little excessive, but
No, I love it. It's awesome. we have to undo what calculate size and position does. So we are going to, we might break this into a couple methods, just FYI. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to say width is equal to rightmost minus leftmost, like that. Duplicate that. Height is equal to bottommost minus topmost. Thanks, CodeRush, for that code for me. Let's see. Then we
Now
need
we
to,
need to set an X and Y.
yes. Thanks, Roy. You beat me. So X is equal to leftmost, like that. Y is equal to topmost, like that. Then we need to go through all the stamps.
Oh, that's true.
And then we need to say stamp dot X equals X minus leftmost. Stamp Y is equal to Y minus topmost.
So you've got an equal sign in each of those on the right. There should be a minus.
Yeah,
And that works too.
there we go.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah, I almost feel like we're really close to being done. Like I'm trying to think, what else do I need to do? And that feels like we need to actually do something where we create a group. All right, let's think about this. Let's go over into some XAML and let's try to add the code we need to create that group here. We need to create a new routed UI command. We're going to call this group selection. Like that. Let's look where copy color mod is here. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything there yet. Let's set up an input binding for it. Control G. There's no grouping in WPF. Totally numb, I know. Well, I think that's okay because this is kind of a specific low-level kind of thing. And this is, we're going to say group selection, like that. So Control G will do invoke group selection, and then we're going to do a command binding to it. And group selection executed is what I want to call it, but I can't name it here. I have to create a new event handler, use CodeRush to tab to next reference into that, and then rename it from here. I think I got the whole name on the clipboard if I recall. Yeah. Group selection executed. So there's our breakpoint. So if we group and then we ungroup, there's another question here, and that's what happens to Z order. Okay, so let's do Z order. Let's do it in a different color so we know it. Rory, can you see that blue is distinct from the black I have up there? No?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Hold on.
The two texts are very much distinct.
Let's make it bigger. So Z order is up here big. Okay? So there's my Z order right there for each of these items here. So we'll say that's 0. No, let's make this 2. It's not in the group though. This is 0 on the Z order, so far away in the back, and this is 3. So the question is, what happens to Z order when we group? Okay, so I think what happens to Z order, wait, did I have these the right order? 0, 1, 2. Oh wait, I wanted this to be 3, sorry. That's 3, that's 3. So what happens to Z order when I create the group? I think it looks like this. This goes to 0, that's to 1, and this goes to 2, is what I think. Let's make that white inside.
So you're making the Z order relative again within its parent.
I think that's what I'm doing, which means
So that
if
when
we
you
group,
ungroup,
yeah,
they'll all have to come back in at the same point as the group exists. The group's
Yes.
going to have a Z order of its own.
yeah, no, I know it will. So this is after grouping. This is what I think it looks like after grouping. And not every implementation of the composite design pattern requires this kind of level of detail thought. But when you're dealing with things like elements that I'm compositing that interact, and they interact in layers, and I'm pulling them out of the layers to be together, I'm essentially saying these are all together. And if I ungroup them, then I think what happens, and then, so we need one, and this then becomes, so another question, what is this Z order, right? Because I have elements both before and after right here. I think this, because I'm creating it new, comes to the top of the stack. I
was thinking that one answer is that when you create the group, in the same way as the group gets left and a width and a height and what have you, derivative of the things it is now containing, it should also be a Z order relative to the things it contains. So you might choose to make it the lowest value of Z order of the things that you were grouping, and position the group within the existing stack at that position. Then within the list of stamps that is inside the group, yes, you can renumber from 0 upwards in the same order they would have been, but it means that you've now got a group which at least partially is representative of where it came from.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's see how PowerPoint does it. What did they do to solve this problem?
Hey, that's a good plan.
Let's just change these a little bit so we have a couple different shapes in here. All right, so
I'm going to group two things which are separated by a third thing. Is that right?
Oops. Bring to front. Okay, so it looks like this. So this is where we've got. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Control G to group. I can hit this button to ungroup. It shifts them all to the top because I just created it. So the group is now at the top. Let's just verify that. Let's put one more item up on top over here, like this. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, group. Oh, it doesn't put them on the top. It shifts the bottom two up to the topmost element. So the topmost element, so the Z order is determined by the topmost element.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm okay with that. That kind of makes sense. Now what happens when I ungroup? It does not bring them back down. I'm okay with this behavior. Because if I want to bring them back down, I can select them individually. But this is easier to code. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so.
It's easier to code this than to store it and then try to restore it on the ungroup. I'm just going to bring them all relative to each other inside and have the Z order of the group be the topmost Z order element. That's what I'm going to do. Okay?
Yep.
So Z order of the group will be the Z order of the topmost element. What happened when you put the yellow square on top while grouping? Wait, I don't understand that question. That's Frank Boucheros out there. How you doing, Frank?
I think in that case it will group the three items, but they'll all be brought to the very top, since that's the location the topmost item being grouped is.
Oh, I think I understand what you're saying. So before grouping, bring this to the top, and then do these and group. Yeah, it's at the top. So if I say, let's put this one, bring this one to the top, and bring this one to the top. So now this is on top of that, like that. And I come in here and I say group, group, group. It should show up all behind the green one. And they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the topmost element in the group. Let's take this one and send it to the back, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, group them, and it's like that. It's simply the topmost element. It determines it.
Now, I can see there being slight degrees of additional complexity when we ungroup, having potentially moved the Z order at some stage. So
let's
say
do that.
You've got
Send it back. and we're going to ungroup. I think it's going to just keep them. It's going to sort them right in the right spots, right between. Yeah.
The difference is, so in your current use case there, your green arrow, let's say, is a 0, and prior to your ungrouping, maybe your red square
was a 1.
1.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually 2 because your
Oh,
selection
2.
is 1.
Right. Right.
Which means you now have to insert 2 extra positions.
Yeah. No
Shove
worries.
Red one way or the other way.
Dude, we're programmers. This is what we do. We'll solve it. We'll solve it. Yeah, no.
It's by no means an unsolvable problem. It's simply one we need to consider.
It is complex. You're right. All right. We'll solve it. We have to consider it. With the order of the topmost element. So we've got that. We also need an ungroup. Let's add it while we're here. Group selection. We're going to create an ungroup selection. Like that. Tab to next reference. Control U. We want this. Let's stop changing selection to color mod. There we go. Ungroup selection. There we go. Whoops. And let's keep going. Tab to next reference. Shift enter. Ungroup selection. That's what we want to call it, but we need to create it first. Drill into it. Rename it. And see the order of the ungrouped elements we'll start with the Z order of the group before it was ungrouped. Okay? Does that feel right? Set a breakpoint here. I'm scared. We're safe as long as we're writing code. All right, that's actually a good sign. This means I forgot something. Stamp height. Matching return type event. Ah. Okay, that was my bad.
Fields above have also got doubles declared.
There they are. Okay.
Which is double NaN and should be NaN.
Yep. Thanks, Roy. Roy,
Isn't it great using language with a compiler that actually catches this stuff for us?
Yeah, no, I love that. It's way better than, the other. All right. You know what? It's suggesting, Mark, just convert to an auto implemented property. Let's do that. Okay. All right, see if we can run now. So if this works, well, we'll see. I think we still have to write the grouping code. We haven't done that yet at our breakpoint. It looks like it's going to run.
It's good though. We've got a lot of pieces in place. The logic so far is pretty good.
All right, here we go. Shows up all the time as the first page because it's armor. Let's drop some armor.
You've a few more tools since I was here last.
Oh yeah, that's cool. These are pretty easy to add, right? That's one of the cool things about this is we actually built these buttons in PowerPoint and just popped them in and pasted them into the XAML, and CodeRush converted them, even the ones with text, really well. The only thing that I don't like here is these controls. I need to scale these up and down as I zoom in and out. I'm not doing a great job of that. So you can kind of see what's happening here. I think I just got to stick it in a view box maybe. All right, so we're going to select both of those. I'm going to hit Control G to get into our breakpoint. All right, now we need to look at our selected stamps. Okay. If selected stamps.count equals 0, then we're out. Otherwise, we need to, for each stamp and selected stamps, we need to create a new list of iStamps. Those are going to be, we're going to, wait. You know what I could do? No, let's create a new list, I think, is what I want to do. Copy this over. Stamps to group. Is there like an add range in here? There is, isn't there? Let's do that instead. Okay.
Coding Gorilla says, while we're on a link kick, if selected stamps.any return.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that encouragement.
Do like that.
It's thank you. Yeah, it's better. Definitely. Okay. Then I want to now go into stamp group and call that static method called create and pass in this range right there. Declare local. There's my stamp group coming out of that. Then I want to go to my stamps layer and I want to call insert stamp, and I need to figure out what my index is going to be, and I'm going to put the stamp group at that index. No, I'm going to figure out to calculate the Z order. We said Z order is going to be equal to the topmost Z order of the element.
Okay.
There's a tricky problem though, in that it goes like this. If all right. This is a little tricky. Is that if the topmost Z order in this is, so this is 0, so we're at 0, 1, 2, whoops, this is, sorry, 3. That's 2, and that's 4. And I group these 3, then I'm going to set the Z order as 3. Oh, that'll still work. Because it'll still be before this. That's it. I thought it was going to be tricky, but it's not. Okay, let's go into stamps.create, make sure Z order is being set correctly. Size, position, and Z order. Now we need to do that as well. Okay, max Z order is there. Then I want to, I just want to say this: Z order is equal to the max Z order. There it is. Okay. That's easy. That was, I was like, is this going to be harder? Am I going to have to think more?
This is going to work pretty well.
Dude, we're programmers. This is what we do. Oh, that's so funny.
I think you found a new catchphrase there.
Yeah, I was kind of an ass, though. Excuse me. I was kind of a butt. Oh, 2. Right.
Which means you now have to insert 2 extra positions.
Yeah, no worries.
Red one way or the other way.
Dude, we're programmers. This is what we do. Yeah, it was me being a butt. Okay. All right, you still with me, Rory?
I am here, yes.
All right, great. My audio's not great. My audio should be really good.
It's a little granular on my end, but
Yeah. Wonder why that is. I'm going to turn down just a little bit. Turn down my volume. Let me know, guys, if that's okay still. Okay, so we're going to insert the stamp at the Z order. Let's double check this. No, this inserts... No. No. I don't want to call insert stamp. I want to call add stamp followed immediately by sort stamps by Z order. That's what I want to do.
but if you add the stamp, you'll be setting its Z order.
Nope, I only
So
set it
max
if it
out.
has no Z order.
Oh, okay.
So I'm cool there. So that's what I want to do. I want to call add stamp and then sort stamps by Z order. So we call add stamp and then sort stamps by Z order. Like that. And holy cow, I think that line of code is done. Are we done? Let's run it. Well, let's step through it. I'm so nervous. I feel like I've forgotten something. Okay, so we got 2 stamps we're grouping together. We created a group, and we sorted. Okay. I cannot select the group. Really? Why can't I select it? All right, let's go see what's going on here. Stamps layer, added it. I added it. Okay, so let's go look through stamps layer. When it contains point is what I'm looking for.
Is there anything we need to refresh to allow it to take account of the changes we've made?
I'm going to just drill right into contains point and see what's going on. I stamp contains point. I want to see where's get stamp at. Boom. Okay, cool. So we are in stamp group.
Good.
Says false. I know why.
Because you're clicking in between and you want to be able to click any.
No, because look what I did. Watch what I did. I moved over the left and the top of all those other pieces, I think. Didn't I? Did I do that or not? I don't remember. If I did that, that would explain why we're not finding the point anymore. Yeah, here. See this?
Mm-hmm.
That right there.
Right.
Also, hold on. Okay, so I need to adjust the point as well when the call contains point. I'm going to do that in a second, but I'm thinking this may be wrong. The stamp, the leftmost X and Y. So part of my problem is I'm thinking here in terms of this having the XY being this top left position, but it's really right in the middle. It's really right here.
Oh.
That's the middle position. So the middle, it's got to be relative to the middle is what it has to be. And I think this is going to be, I think this code is going to need to look like this. I'm going to stay with that logic. So I'm going to say middle, yeah. So we're going to say, middle X,